Hey, thank you for tuning in to watch my third video. Today's video is going to be about food, the environment, the meat industry, and the dairy industry. I don't want this video to be about going into the slaughtering of animals, how they're raised, how they live, and touching on is that ethical or unethical. My views are my views on that, and I don't agree with it, but this is not what this video is about, and I didn't want it to be about that. I wanted it to be more about facts and things it's doing to our body and things it's doing to our environment and the planet. And when I decided to go vegetarian, I did that because I read The Medical Medium and I found that book so interesting. So from that book, I made the choice to go vegetarian, and then it was a long time, really, about 2.5, 3 years, and then I transitioned over to vegan. And it is a journey, and there's no right or wrong, and you've got to follow your own instincts and your gut, and you've got to do what feels right for you. Don't listen to everybody else. It can be so easy to get sidetracked sometimes, I think, or start listening to other people's opinions, but just do what feels right for you. And like I said, it is a constant journey. I'm still learning. I've got quite a few facts that I want to get through, and these are things that I've learned from documentaries I've watched, books I've read, YouTube videos, people I follow on social media. And these are things that I found really interesting, and these are the things that made me realise I didn't want to contribute to causing these problems, and I didn't want to put these substances that I'm going to talk about, meat and the chemicals within stuff, into my body. And I'm also going to touch on supplements and some things that can be really good for your body in removing metals from the body, a build-up of toxins and things like that that our diets perhaps have done to us over the years. So let's get the stuff out the way that's really quite factual, and it is really interesting, so please take the time to listen. I don't think people are aware that the hamburger you eat, there's a journey and a process to that. I don't think people realise that actually a hamburger is a cow, a ham sandwich is a pig, your roast chicken is a chicken. We lose that process. We don't think about what's past the plate of food, and I think we should all take a bit more time to really think about that. So the things I'm going to talk about and touch on is mostly about animal agriculture. And if you was to really want to look into this, I would totally recommend Cowspiracy on Netflix. And also there's a BBC documentary that went out a couple of weeks ago. You can catch up with that on BBC iPlayer. That was really interesting, and that was called Meat and the Planet, I think, or Planet and the Meat. You'll find it quite easily, but do check that one out as well. So I just wanted to talk about animal agriculture. So when we think about animal agriculture, it is such a vast, huge industry. So animal agriculture, that could be anything from raising cattle to produce meat, growing crop to feed the cattle, pig farming, dairy farming. Agricultural is in agricultural growth and farming. It is such a big industry. The governments keep talking about CO2 emissions, greenhouse gas emissions, things that's really causing damage to the planet. And they tell us it's the fracking of the oil, it's our transport, it's us polluting the planet with the trains, the planes, and all of these things, etc. And the list goes on and on and on. But actually, after watching a documentary, I learned that the animal agricultural industry is the cause of 51% of our greenhouse gases. And when you think about that, that is actually a really large number. That's actually really worrying. So yeah, animal agriculture is the cause of 51% of our greenhouse gases, when transport, all transport alone, is the contributor of 13% of our greenhouse gases. So there is a big difference. And I think it's shocking, I really do. So also, when we talk about meat production, we have to think about water usage. So from the moment that animal is born to the moment it's raised to the age of when it's slaughtered, it's going to need a water supply, and they drink more than we would. They're going to need a water supply to grow the crop for their food that they're going to need to eat, and boy do they have an appetite. When they are slaughtered, there's a water process to washing down the meat. Even if it's put into chillers or frozen, there's a water supply there. So it goes on and on and on. I just wanted to let you know some of the things I found out. So to create a hamburger, it would take 660 gallons of water. When we think that it takes 660 gallons of water to create a hamburger, and pardon me, there's people in the world starving and dying from drought and dehydration. It's just like 660 gallons of water to make one hamburger. It would take 2,500 gallons of water to produce a pound of beef. A pound of beef, 2,500 gallons of water. It is worrying. So also, animal agriculture is the biggest cause, or it has used the following. These things blew my mind. So animal agriculture has took 1/3 of the planet's water. It occupies 45% of the planet's land. It's responsible for 91% of the Amazon deconstruction. That is just like, these are things that people at the top should be talking about, but they don't want to. And that concerns me. It's like it's all being brushed under the carpet. Because the beef, well, not the beef, I mean the meat industry is such a big market. The dairy industry is such a big market. They're money makers. They're backed by big governments and corporations, and it's really hard, I think, to get this information out there, or for us to access it, because they don't want us to know such of these things. Also, right, let's not get off sidetracked. So also, animal agriculture is the leading cause of species extinction. It's also the biggest cause of ocean dead zones, and it's the leading cause of habitat deconstruction. So just to touch on some of these, so because we're taking so much of the rainforest, we're chopping it down to grow crop to feed to the cattle. So by doing that, we're taking out species of wildlife. So that's obviously going to affect the species. Then we've got to think about growing crop. Now we're doing genetically modified crops that are going to have pesticides in them. That's damaging the insects. So this is why we're getting so much species loss from animal agriculture. And there's other things that are causing this as well. When we look at ocean dead zones, so we need to look at the big cattle ranches that are raising cattle for beef. They produce so much methane and they eat so much, so there is so much excrement coming out of the cattle that is making its way into the earth, into the streams, down into the ocean. It makes its way down. On one of these documentaries, they really go into detail on that, and it's really interesting. So obviously we're creating ocean dead zones because there's so much waste and feces travelling down into the oceans. We even have ocean dead zones in the UK, and that's just, it's sad, because I think who says we've got the right to pollute the ocean? Who says we've got the right to take the Amazon rainforest? It doesn't belong to any one person. My belief is the Amazon rainforest is the lungs for this planet, and we need it. We really do. And the fact we're just chopping it down is crazy, I think, personally. So just now to touch a bit on the rainforest. So we burn 200,000 acres of rainforest is burned every day. That is 150 acres every minute, and that is 78 million acres a year. It's just shocking. And we have 10 million species of insects, plants and animals on this planet, and half of that number call the Amazon rainforest home. And we really should be looking at this. I honestly believe if you drew a triangle and put the humans at the top and every other species underneath, when you start knocking out blocks, and when it becomes so unstable and there's an unbalance, everything will fall in. And I believe that's what's going to happen. Once all these species die out, eventually we will be next. And yet we are the people that can create the change to stop this happening. So yeah, this video, I hope it makes you aware that animal agriculture is doing so much damage and yet it's so unnecessary. So yeah, also I just wanted to touch on other things that are causing damage to the Amazon. I'm not just blaming animal agriculture full stop. Obviously palm oil and fracking for oil. So palm oil has used 26 million of acres of the rainforest, when animal agricultural farming has used 136 million acres to date. And you just think, whoa, that's like, it's shocking. This is why I decided to look at my diet and to look at meat. Did I need it? No, I didn't. And yeah, I did it, 1 for the animals, 2 for the planet, and 3 for my own body. So yeah, I hope if you can take anything from this video, it's just look in to see where you could make changes. Or I may have said something that you were so unaware of that you think, oh my God, like, or you do a bit of research or you talk to somebody. It's about making people aware and just sharing what we learn. So what else to touch on now? We've done that one, yep. So I just want to touch on fishing and fish as a food source. So this is large scale fishing. I'm not attacking any person out there that goes fishing in a lake to catch some lovely carp, or that's irrelevant to what we're talking about here. This is mass fishing, like, and you'll see by the numbers. So we are pulling out of the oceans around 28 billion fish a year, which is never giving the fish the time to replenish or breed to bring their numbers back up. We just go in and we take them. We're going in with such big nets, we kind of just scoop. And unfortunately, a byproduct of this is we are taking out about 40 to 50 million shark species every year, which is a byproduct. They're not even used, they're not even meant to be caught. It's a byproduct, so they may have their shark fins cut off to go into a soup. Other than that, they'll be cast aside, ground down into, like, make a feed or a fertilizer. And it's so sad that we're taking out that amount of number of fish from our oceans and we're not giving them any time to replenish. Scientists have predicted that by about, I think it was like 2049, it might even be 2039, that we could have fishless oceans. And I just think, my God, how sad that could be. Like, it really is worrying. So also now fish as a food substance. You think how long fish have been in the ocean and think how long mankind has been polluting the ocean. We know it's got a high level of plastic in there. It's also got a really high level of metal in the ocean. One of the metals within the ocean that we don't want in our body is mercury. Mercury, when in the body, will travel to the brain and it's going to sit in your pineal gland, which is going to kind of shut down the pineal gland. And as a spiritual being, you want to keep that open. That's going to help with meditation. It's going to help with all your spiritual gifts. So the pineal gland, it's there for a reason. And metal in the brain is gonna really clog that up. Also, metal in the brain is not going to be good for anybody with any neurological condition. So we are looking at dementia, Alzheimer's, autism, Asperger's, ADHD, things like that. I'm not saying eating fish is going to cause those. I'm not saying that. But eating a real high fish diet is not going to help anybody with any of those elements. So I would say, definitely, if you're a big fish eater, you should think about perhaps trying to detox some of those metals out of the body, which is a really good thing to do. When I went vegetarian, I never ate a lot of fish, but also there can be traces of metal found within meat, and also our meat is being pumped with antibiotics and steroids, and that's going to make its way into our body somehow. So I did a big detox when I went vegetarian. So a great way to remove the metals out of your brain, if you want to do that, is a supplement called spirulina. This is it here. It's a green powder. It does not smell nice, I'm not going to lie to you, but this is great for removing metals from the brain. There's a big section in The Medical Medium by Anthony Williams. Totally recommend that book. Check that out. So spirulina, you can add this to smoothies, supplements. You can add it to drinks. You could add it to dinners. You could sprinkle it on salads. The list is endless. You can always Google recipes as well. So spirulina is going to remove metal from your body and the brain. Really worth looking into. Also, when I talk about the pineal gland, spiritually, I link that in with my third eye. So also our third eye can get calcified, and we can decalcify that. So what is going to calcify the third eye is fluoride. Not that this is a food, but fluoride is put into our toothpaste. So I remove that from my home. We don't have fluoride in our toothpaste. We use fluoride free. A good way of doing that is these toothpastes are all fluoride free. You can find these in TK Maxx. I bought this one online first off and I paid like £15. And then I found it in TK Maxx for $3.99 or $2.99. So check TK Maxx, guys. It's very easy. Look on the box. It'll say fluoride free, sulfurous free, no GMOs, gluten free, cruelty free, vegan friendly. So look out for them. This is my favourite brand of toothpaste that's fluoride free. Don't give your children fluoride toothpaste. Do not do it, peeps. Don't have toothpaste in your home. If you've got small children, yeah, stop that. Get fluoride free toothpaste. Iodine solution is brilliant for that. So iodine is going to decalcify the third eye. So this is brilliant for removing the fluoride. And obviously I'm 34 now. I took this, I probably had this over a year. So it was a late discovery for me. There's no too late or too early to start. So if you're my age or if you're 20, whatever age you may be, if you've been using toothpaste for all those years, go over to fluoride free. Look out for this. It's J. Crow solution. I use 2% iodine drops. Yeah, and it tastes absolutely fine. It's got a bit of a taste, but I just take it in a little bit of water, knock it back. This is going to be really good. It's going to be good for the mind. It's also going to be really good for protecting organs from things like Wi-Fi, electrical currents. So think of EMF crystals, what they would do. This does the same thing with the body. I find that with me, this works really well. So we've touched on the fluoride and how to remove that. The spirulina is going to obviously remove the metals from the body. If you've ate a lot of fish or you've been a heavy meat eater, that would be something really worth looking into. Also, some other things I like are organic turmeric powder. So turmeric powder is really good. It's packed with antioxidants. I like taking a little bit of this and putting it in some hot water with some sliced lemon, and I just have that as a drink. Really good for the immune system. So that's turmeric. Be careful with your fingers, it can go a bit orange. Reishi mushroom powder. This I find is really good for the immune system. If you feel like you're getting a few sniffles or run down, or you've been around somebody who's got some germs and you think, this is great. I find I would take this and the next day I'm like, boom, it's gone. It shifts anything. I swear by this, it really is. And this is packed with antioxidants as well. So that's reishi mushroom and turmeric powder. Two great things to incorporate into your diet. Also, I nearly got my crystal. Also, I love wheatgrass powder. So there's a fabulous documentary called Heal. That's on Netflix, check it out. They talk a lot about wheatgrass. So I call this the cancer killer. There's many foods on this planet that are cancer killers. And that's because they're so high in, oh my God, I forgot the word. How can I forget the word? They're alkalizing. Alkalizing, yes. So an alkalized body would not form illnesses such as cancer and things like that because they would need acidity in the body. So this is great. Do check out that documentary Heal. It's so worth a watch. Yeah, wheatgrass shots. I take that in a little bit of water, knock it back, boom. Really gives you lots of energy. I love this stuff. Also, we have got chlorella. So obviously if you're giving up meat or dairy, eggs, things like that, people are very aware. They like to remind you you're going to lose protein. When actually things like this has 60% protein, it's packed with vitamin E and it is full of iron. So chlorella, again, you can add it to salads, smoothies, drinks, sauces, the list goes on and on. So chlorella and wheatgrass, really good for incorporating into your diet if you want to start getting some real goodness. Some other things I learned along the way, this was more like spiritually looking into stuff. So like Ayurvedic remedies, which is really ancient herbs. So they're ancient traditions and like mixing of herbs and things like that. And I found these really helpful. So I did take haritaki powder, which this again was really good for decalcifying the third eye. That's why I did this. I did it for like 21 days, a spoonful every day, knocked back with water. First couple of times was a bit entertaining. It was vile, and I spat it across the room the first time. Took a while to get used to this, but as you can see, I've practically done the bag. But yeah, Harataki is going to decalcify the third eye, so that's really good if you're spiritually awakening or you're awakening more and you want to think of something to strengthen the third eye, or if you've been doing a lot of third eye work and you're perhaps not getting where you need to get, it may be because you need to decalcify that. So that's something to look into. I got this one from Herbalay, which is www.herbalii.co.uk. So that is that Harataki. Also, organic ashwagandha powder. So this is like the equivalent to ginseng. This is going to be great for the body. It's an Ayurvedic blend. So again, this is just going to give you some goodness. I found this was very detoxifying for my body as well. So a lot of these I have got from Indigo Herbs, which is a UK-based company. I'm going to put all the information of these supplements down in the box, so you will find them all there that we've touched on. So yeah, it was basically, this video was more about think about your food and how it's affecting the environment, also what it's doing to your body. So I hope this has helped people. I hope we've covered lots of interesting different stuff. I was really passionate about this video, and I didn't want it to be all about blood, guts and killing of animals. I didn't want it to be that. I wanted it to be far more factual and interesting, and to get people thinking and talking about, actually, wow, like, okay, let's not eat beef because it's such a big polluter of methane and it's doing this, it's doing that. So instead, perhaps I will just eat chicken. Or if we can get people thinking different and talking and debating, I just think with debate comes change, and change is great. Yeah, I can't thank you enough for watching this video. If there's anything you want to know, please feel free to message me. I love getting feedback. I love answering questions. If you want to know more, anything about the supplements, the toothpastes or the drops that I've talked about, again, get in touch. I have a competition over on my Facebook and Instagram page. It's for 2 books and a crystal giveaway. To be in for a chance to win that, you only have to be doing 3 things, and that is be subscribed to my YouTube channel, James Ruby-Wicks. Then you have to be following my Facebook, which you can find me as The Crystal Dealer UK, again, also under my name, James Ruby-Wicks, and the same with my Instagram, The Crystal Dealer UK or James Ruby-Wicks. Follow all 3 of those accounts and you will be in for a chance to win that little giveaway. I'm going to do the announcement next week. Yeah, again, thank you so much for watching this. I hope you found this interesting. I certainly did. Be sure to check out the things I spoke about, the 2 documentaries, Cowspiracy on Netflix and Meat and the Planet on BBC iPlayer. Have a wonderful day, evening, whenever you watch this, whatever time it may be. Thank you again for taking time to watch this. Love and light. Mwah.